Welcome to Talkin' Truck Shit, the ultimate podcast for truck lovers and road warriors. Join Brett Sullivan, Barry Higgins, and Jeremy Allen as they kick it, sharing wild stories and talk with custom truck experts. Whether you like them lifted or lowered, 2 or 4-wheel drive. Buckle up and get ready for a ride filled with fun times and all the truck talk you can handle.
Welcome to pod number 5 of the Talking Truck Ship podcast. I'm Brett Sullivan, Barry Higgins, Jeremy Allen, and our guest is Mr. Bryan Ashley. Bryan, thanks for coming and joining us.
Welcome.
So I wanted to kick things off, kind of ask you, you've told us, or you've told me in the past, about Southeastern Truck Nationals, kind of when, how that thing started. And, I guess historically it had been open kind of an all makes thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I think we had gone back up a little farther. A bunch of us back in the old 6772 ChevyTrucks.com, the old forum days, we would, or kind of our 1 year get together would always be the Chevy GMC Truckin' Nationals that was always held over, not always, but at the time in the early 2000s, it was always held over in Pigeon Forge. We would all go over there. It's kind of like the one meet. A bunch of us would get together from Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, different places, and we would all meet. Members like 60 people with families eating over at one of the barbecue places over there in Waynesboro, North Carolina, because he got moved at some point from Pigeon Forge. He was moved over to Maggie Valley, where the little Southeast Mini Truck Nats, and there's several little shows over there now.
Yeah.
C10's the Valley is there. But it was started at Pigeon Forge. Kind of met some of the guys on the board there. Then that was kind of our yearly or annual kind of show. And annual back then there wasn't, it's probably the only truck show, GM truck show period that I could think of, at least on this side of the country, that we always went to. And then he moved it. The guy sold it. I think it was Charlie Cobble was the guy that owned it back then, Mr. Cobble. And then he sold it to another gentleman who had it 1 year, Maggie Valley. And then he moved it to Newport, Tennessee. I think he's kind of killed it there. Just didn't go very well. I'm not saying it wasn't playing well. I just don't know if it was something he let it go and then just let it dissolve. I think it was probably 2009. Me and my wife, Mandy, were talking. I was like, we could do something like this because I'm not doing it in East Tennessee. No disrespect to East Tennessee. We could just do it more centrally located to us. So 2010, we came up and started the Southeast Truck Nationals, but I was a little nervous at the time to cut one of my arms off and do just GM. I was afraid to. As much that's all I like, and that's all the show that I wanted to model after was. And they probably have a few hundred trucks, maybe if make a couple hundred trucks there at the old GMC Trucking Nationals. But I thought, well, let's do all trucks. I don't want to, again, I don't want to.
We don't want to discriminate.
Yeah, it's good. That's where we're going to look at.
I guess I guess a little bit of the unknown when you're planning something like that to narrow it down to just GM stuff, and you just don't ever know how that stuff's going to go.
No. And again, I just figured all trucks be cool that way. Everybody has a somewhere liking. But just kind of, I think in 2010 we did all trucks, and we had 100 trucks. Then there at the little small park there in Whitehouse, Tennessee, there where we live. That was pretty awesome. It's always been in July. People get upset about me having it in July because it's hot. Well, I mean, there's not very many places in North America where it's not hot in July.
Right.
But it's funny. It started that way in July because the park in Whitehouse only had like 3 weekends open. They always have a big July 4th celebration, and then their little their fall softball league starts like the first weekend in August. So I pretty much had 3 weekends in choose from, and I decided, well, let's just go ahead and knock it out there the second weekend in July. So that's why, and still today, it's always the second weekend in July. Moved it there, and then because we had 100 trucks in 10, we came back and did 11. Probably had around 80 or so, and then
So set the stage for us. What the park in White House? Is it a big park? Is it a small park? Like, did the hunting trucks make it? I mean, did you feel like, wow, we've made it?
No, and it wasn't super. I mean, it was good size, but wasn't anything that was there was no way to block everybody in. It's kind of like you just kind of pulled in. Spectators could kind of park it. You want to park across the street at the Ace Hardware and walk across, you could. So we didn't really. You pulled into the grass. It was kind of a day of registration only thing. So back then, you never knew who was going to show up. It rained, you're screwed. You might be there with 6 of your buddies that didn't mind getting wet. And which is still my fear today, that I'll be there with 6 of my friends.
You had 6 friends?
But yeah. Well, my wife, but 6 friends. I don't know, for her. She tells me they're my friends, at least in my face. And, but we decided to, and just kind of did that thing with the day of registration. They pull in the grass. We would, take their money and give them little registration forms. We could keep track of who they were, which we still have a database of the people from 2010 that still,
Nice.
I'm sure that was probably, I know there's a couple of them that passed away. So, we still keep track of them. And 11, we did the same thing in White House, and we had like 80. And 12, we had this great idea. It was not a great idea, but we thought, let's do this 2 days. That was stupid. But we did Saturday, Sunday, which back then it wasn't a big deal. But now, I personally think Sunday shows are kind of sucks to do it when people do 3-day shows.
Everybody's leaving.
Sundays are travel days. So, And I think what we found was we probably had about 75 trucks that year, which was, it sucked in general, only had 75 trucks. And then also to make it worse, was we probably only had about 50 or 60, if that, on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So Barry Higgins, who would have won an award on Saturday, now he didn't come back on Sunday because he went home. So now I'm scrambling to find another guy to win an award that didn't really deserve it but he's present. So you don't want to just, Higgins, but I'll just mail it to him. So he just kind of looked, I didn't want to have egg in my face.
They could just stick and shit like that nice anyway.
I think that because with the showdown we'd talked about at some point in time going 2 days with things and of course you overthink things,
yes,
as much as I do or more, but the thought of doing a 2-day show and you always have a down day, and I think you're doing it right with how you're doing things now, because Friday is your down day.
Yep.
But it can be blamed or put off on everybody's just rolling in.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there's a good excuse for that down day, and you get to end on a bang with all of the crowd there on Saturday. If you go Saturday and Sunday, then Sunday becomes your down day, and then that's what everybody remembers. Oh, this sucks. Or what.
We'll leave with not say bad taste, but leave with that. That's the last impression they have of the hits. So that way, Saturday is always the bigger day. Of any show, I would argue, barring it just a complete downpour all day, and Friday being the better day, but that obviously rarely happens. Any show I don't think I've ever been where just monsoon on a Saturday and Friday was the better day, but people, when they're there on Friday, they're going to hang on Saturday, whether they hang on the tents or they're in town, the hotel. How your feet to get there.
At one point in time, I thought maybe you might have been sponsored by farmers or something, because for several years there it was like, it's gonna rain, but how much is it gonna rain, and all that. And we had a few years there where it was consecutive.
Yes. My favorite year, let me back, and I'll tell you at least some of the history. In 13, I didn't do the show at all in 13 because I was going to get promoted at work. At least that's what I was told, and I did. So they weren't lying to me. But the promotion was going to come like in July 1st at the fiscal year, and I was afraid. Looking back on it, it was stupid. I should have done it anyway, but I was afraid of doing all this work, 8-9 months in advance, and and then go and then get promoted on July 1st. Thank you. Hey, can I have next Saturday off? Because that's sure. And where you at? And after 12, we had a little bit of a bad taste because, we had a little, and it, still again, all trucks, and probably had about 79, I think. So maybe, a little less than 11. So then 13, I didn't do it. But in 13, I decided to, which has changed the course of the history of the show. In 13, I'm not sure I'm trying to think even why I decided to do it, but I contacted a gentleman by the name of John Oro, and said I was going to come out to the, and I'd known John. In 12, me and my wife went out for our 10-year anniversary. We flew to California and drove up the PCH all the way to Seattle and flew home in like a 10-day period.
That's a hell of a drive. That's nice.
Beautiful. Whatever road was, the ocean was on the left. We took it all the way up to
nice.
corner of Washington's most northwest corner. We're not Neas Bay is the most north, but around there, and came home from Seattle. So I met John there through the board. And then in 13, he picked me up at the airport, and I'd gone to Brothers, and he picked me in the airport. I thought, and Brothers at that time was just It is now, I guess. Still, I don't think Brothers are going on anymore. But it was all GM, and it was the creme de la creme, because at that point it was like 400 trucks. It was, it was the best show in the country, and the largest GM show in the country at the time. And so we flew out there, and thank godly enough, I got picked up at the airport by John, and a gentleman by the name of Bryan let me stay at his hotel room. Bryan had owned a small business at the time and wasn't really doing very many trucks. I had a nice 72, and I rode into the show with him, and crashed at the hotel. Back that time, the hotel was the main hotel where everybody stayed at. It was a big party. Renee Martinez, C10 King, but everybody was there. I met all those people that weekend. It was kind of cool. And we get all GMs. When I got back from Brothers, we decided we're going to do all GM. I decided at that point we're going to do it. We're going to piss some people off, but it's fun. I mean, they'll live. And sometimes I wonder if I left it all truck shows, would it have? I think it probably would have blown up too, and maybe not as much fun. I couldn't make all my Ford and Dodge jokes if it did. There's not a lot of Dodge jokes. There's not many Dodge trucks. Trucks, but
we of course the showdown, our show, it's all makes, and we invite all makes, so that way we can make fun of those people to their face.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. If they make it, their period. Well, that's all they make it. They break down the way there. Mm-hmm. But they, so in 14 we started. I think that was the year it rained. It's funny, it rained everywhere around us in 14, but didn't rain there. So it was a struggle to get people to realize it's not raining here. Please come. Yeah. I think we had like 85 trucks. We had more the year before. It was all GM. I think that was year Stacy David does his show there in White House or in the area there, and he lives in town, and he had come out and shook hands and kissed some babies and stuff like that. And very nice guy. And he brought a few people in, of course, that have advertised, let him know he was coming. Of course, social media was big in 14, but not like it is,
right,
the behemoth it is today. But then in 15, we had 125 15s. We thought we were the best thing going, most we ever had. And then in 16, we had it at the same park, and we had 225.
Oh,
so we probably could have fit another 5 trucks in that small park, and realized we need to move. So we moved it to Gillsville, Tennessee, which is just north of Nashville. There, almost some of it is in Davis County, to a big Moss Wright Park. And that was the year, if you want to talk about rain, it monsooned for 5 hours, I think, from 7:30 to about 12:30. I'll never forget. It's one of those things you see on the map, and you see it coming, and you see this little. I go, well, that'll go through. That'll just pass through, and it got there, and it just stopped.
Just sit there and circle.
Just sat there and circled. It went. I mean, it just there was guys. GSI had come out to the show from Chandler, from Arizona, Phoenix area, and I'd never forget them sitting there pulling. I'm going, guys, never. In Arizona, of course, it rains only once a year, but they were complaining, not complaining, they were chuckling about the fact that guys driving through mud pole right through the main path to get into the show, the grass area, like guys would never leave. They won't leave their house. If it was raining around much, they won't leave their house in their old truck or old car in Arizona. Yeah. And you got guys driving through. I mean, we're creating ruts, and that I had to apologize for at the end, to the park at the end of the day or by Monday morning. They were like, it was amazing, guys. There's a famous picture of Jeremiah Duffball and Briggs, his son Briggs, and I'm trying to think of the other 4 people in the corner. Maybe Andy, his dad, Jeremiah's dad, walking through and holding a 10 by 10 tent. They're all on the inside of the tent. It's pretty much their umbrella. And they're walking. Yeah, I remember who the 4th person was. But they're walking through using the tent as an umbrella, walking around looking at trucks. So the joke I tell people that on Tuesday night, we had gone somewhere to eat. I'd pull my wallet out. And my check card was still wet from Saturday morning. Like, it was still moist. The card was still, that's how wet I was standing out there directing traffic or getting everybody in. So, pretty mad because, can't do anything about it, but doesn't mean I can't be mad about it. So my wife, she said, can't control it. Doesn't mean I can't be mad about it. Let me have my,
let me get it over with. Yeah.
So
let me throw my fit.
We had we had 370 trucks a year. So we still way more than the 225. We were excited to, had plenty of room. I think we had 505 the next year in 18. I'm a little exact. I remember those numbers. Now, if you asked me in the last 2 years, I could tell you a roundabout, but I can't tell you the exact number because that's funny. I remember those numbers. But and in 19, we had 707. I think that was the last year. It was the last year at Gillsville. Yeah. That was the last year we said, okay, we had to change our judging because it was just the 3 guys I had walk around just can't see it all. There's just no way to. to see it all. And so can't see 700 trucks.
Yeah.
Just can't do it.
Sure.
Right.
So
And I know the judging is your favorite part about all shows.
Absolutely. That's what I've heard anyway. Or do you really enjoy that?
So
you can make me go down. You're gonna make me offend somebody.
no, it's not.
What the hell you think we put you?
Buckle up. So why don't you tell the one about the gentleman that approached you? Was that year before?
Well, he's 22. He was 22. We changed. We've actually about the judging. We had it where it used to be where just the three of us would walk around the park. That three guys. Yeah, an odd number. That way, I think it's best. Two guys win the argument or win the vote out the one guy. And then after 19, it just got where they can't see it all. So in 20, we moved. Same time we ended up moving to the Wilson County Fairgrounds, which we are now. And we will never leave. They're good to me. And I don't have any interest in leaving that place ever again. No. 50 feet off the interstate. It's just, there's no reason to get, hotels are right there. There's no reason.
And we're super clean and
super clean. They take care of it. Yeah, it's right. There's bathrooms. There's, probably what? There's nice setup in terms of everywhere.
ACs,
and for years, I'm 49. I've been in Tennessee since I was 13, but we always went to shows there, and everybody knows, there's guys that come to my show and go, that's where I park for every show. That's my pole. Pole's got power on it. I park there for every show. That's where I can put my fan up to, or I put my generator, whatever they want to hook up to. That's where they back into. They know that's where they park. That's my tree.
Yeah.
That's the part, so it's fine. So, we moved to there in 20, and then in 20, 20, 21, 22, and up to now. So I think it was, in 20 and 21, we did drive-through judging and thought we'd do the drive-through judging. Thought, well, that way they can, you can drive through at probably four guys and 2 lanes and let the guys kind of back and forth. And then if they need to see something, they could kind of let them work it out. One thing about the judging, and I've always done it, and in today's no different in 25 here in a couple weeks, I don't get involved in it. I just don't. I stay out of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll ask me, "Hey, this is Barry Higgins' truck. Could you have a contact number? I can't get in touch with them." I'll say, "Yeah, go see Mandy, and she'll get you his information from the registration form, and you can call them. They can need to pop the hood or need to ask a question about it." But I don't, and I know about an idea. Maybe Barry wins something, but it just means he's in the running. It means I may not call his name at the end of the day. But they, and I think we end up looking. I think after we had 1,000 trucks, right over 1,000 and 20, and I think. And also in 21, we had 1,300 trucks. And I think both years, it was exactly 14% of people went through the judging. I thought, what the hell are we doing? Really, no one cares. Well, 14% of people care. No one cares. But I thought, if Brett's truck is super nice, then he probably deserved an award. But you know what? Was pretty comfortable. Didn't want to leave his cooler. And didn't want to leave his parking spot in his tent. Yeah. But he should deserve to win something too. But hey, if you don't want to go, we don't have to go. So I just said, you know what, let's do this. So we had probably 27 awards at the time. Some of the same ones we have now. We added the van, and we added what else we had? We added one more here, best dually, in the last couple of years. But back then we had best bed, best chrome, best interior, best LS. It's like, well, I had to move it to just the fact of let's just do what you can see from 30 feet. And I may not be very popular, but it's just like best way. But so that's why there's a best 772. It just, because now I say, hey, Barry, I found people that I'll say they're specialty, but if I won't say any of my current judges, because I want in today's world, they'll probably get doxxed or something. Some guy don't get an award if I tell you who does a certain category. But if I say, Brett Sullivan, I need you to go find the best 73 to 80. You've got all day on Friday. And by Saturday noon, I need you to go find my wife and she'll be at the tent or at the pavilion at noon, and give her please have a picture and tell me how the award's parked, and then have tell me who you pick. Make sure you make contact with Barry Higgins and say, hey, we're going to give you an award. Don't tell them what award it is, but hey, we're going to give you an award. Do you mind? Will you be here? Because I'll make sure they're there. Again, I don't want to shiv it. Barry left. They make sure that they're all there. They're present. So that's that's what I do. We have 17, I think 18, and it's just because again, you can't see. You best interior, you can look at all. There's 1,700 trucks now, and it's just to be fair. I'm not saying there's not. It probably would be nice to have those extra awards, but it's difficult for someone to see every single one. If you're doing best 7380, I'm not saying you won't walk over and look at Barry's. What year's your 60, 65, 66 your GMC, but it's a nice truck, but it's not. Well, it's not the one you're responsible for. Look at him. So you just go, man, that's a sweet round eye. Let's go check it out. And people goes, well, they didn't see my truck. Well, your truck's that nice, and then here's me. It's gonna get seen. Oh, I'm sorry, it just will. But people get a little pissy about it. In 22, now I finally get to the point that you asked. I had a gentleman who come from Texas. I don't remember his name. I couldn't tell you if I wanted to. Could probably find it, but I don't care.
He's going to contact you on today's death threats.
No, death threats. Bring it, wasn't it? Yes. I literally got done. I think I'd still probably had the microphone in my hand of saying, thanks everybody, appreciate you coming. And then it turned around and he walked up and he had his phone and he said, did y'all judge this truck? And I wanted to, I'm not very fast. I talk fast, obviously, but I wanted to kind of go, hey guys, hey, everybody come back. I think we got to start over. I mean, I really think he'd have been like, yeah, come on, everybody. I don't think. I don't think he would have probably, and I don't think he'd have realized it at all. And I'm thinking, I said, yeah, they saw it, and I saw his truck. It was a nice truck. I think.
Well, everybody likes that different.
Yes,
Me too.
and I think it was nice. It was a nice AD truck, Advanced Design 4754. And I talked to the judges afterwards, the guys that did that category, and looked the best of show, and they said we saw it. It was very nice. It was probably a distant second to the winner, but the problem is that particular year was the year that was a blue 47 to 87. Feel bad on his name was Justin. Out of northern Alabama. It was on the 23 shirt on the top, the blue 40s, the blue 47. It was probably a $300,000 truck.
Yeah.
And he won. Not that money talks, but it wasn't even fully. So it was such a nice truck that it was no reason. It was so far ahead that he was going to,
Well,
win.
the other 76% that's normal, we come there to see you, not to see trophies.
All right. What about the other 10% there, Matt?
Well, that's what that's some
14%. That's okay. 80.
Yeah. So what's Waltonville math right there? It is, yeah. So there'd be no math.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, you're good. It's the so out or
Well, there's 10% that are just there.
So not to throw more numbers out there, but that's something that I've come to say quite a bit, in my opinion, as far as how the judging and stuff goes. So you're going to, and I say this quite often, you're going to make 5% of the people happy. You're going to piss off 5% of the people, and the other 90%, that makes 100, Barry. They don't give a shit.
And I think the thing was that it wasn't what got me wasn't that the fact that the gentleman asked me about it after the show. It did get me, but I thought, whatever, I understand. He's not the first person. At White House, I remember a gentleman getting upset. I don't think same thing, microphone in my hand, and said he wouldn't be back because he didn't win. That's not whatever. It's funny you say this. I could tell you in 2025, I will take you because he's been in the show numerous times since then, and I'll tell you where he's going to pull. I can take you back to stuff. He's got a different truck now, and I won't call it. I'll tell you where. You would. And I don't remember his name. I see him everywhere all the time. He's been back. He probably come the next year.
Hey, let's give him an award that don't even pertain to his truck this year.
Of course, I wouldn't indulge the contents of every conversation that I have with every person or anything. But Bryan and I kind of talked about this at one point in time, and I like to, if I can come up with a way to give him a hard time, I'm going to do that. So we were talking about plotting and planning for the shows, and talked about the judging, and can we do things different? Can we do this? Can we do that? And after that gentleman had put on a little bit of a spectacle of things, I told Bryan, I said, I think maybe you should, with every registry, you should send a participation ribbon out. That way, everybody
winner.
Everybody's a winner.
Everybody's in there. I think what got me the most about the guys, not that he did that to me, but the next morning we were home, and a lot of people, he sent me a walk around video of the truck on Sunday morning. Oh, I got it Sunday morning. So I was going to call.
I want to get it.
By the way, it's Dustin, not Justin. It was Dustin. Dustin, he may not own the truck anymore, but Dustin owned the blue 47. I think it was a 49. That won best of show and best 4754 and best of show. But he sent me a walk-around video, like I was going to call Dustin back and go, hey, man,
Yeah.
man, I just saw this walk.
You know what? I'm going to have that back.
I need you to, man, we really missed on this, and we really missed. I really need you to, can you meet me somewhere so I get that back in real quick? Both of them, because y'all not only did you not win Best 47 before, but you didn't win Best of Show either, because this guy's, I mean, that's that. And why would you, you manage that a walk-around video is, I mean,
It must be really nice to live your life with that little amount of self-awareness, right? Like how do you get through what? So where you're not right.
whether you're in the left lane or you're not paying attention, and now you won't get out of the way. Just it could be a number of reasons. But
I mean, I often envy people who I think can, with a straight face say, even if I truly believed in my heart that my truck was better than the winning truck, there's no way in the hell that I could walk up to somebody and be like, but did you see me?
Well, but people live in La La Land, though. They do.
way you come along from Texas, but I get it. You weren't the farthest, but it was, and again, it was a nice truck. But I just thought,
I love the whole idea that he says, and I won't be back and things like that, because thanks for letting us know, because, if you're not enjoying yourself, we don't want you there anyway.
Yeah.
well, there's an old saying, and I see it every once in a while. This is an airport. You don't need to match your department.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's true. You can go.
Yeah.
It's okay. And it's not, I'm not trying to be mean. I want everybody to come, and I want everybody to, have a good time. But at the same time, I don't want you. Yeah, it's okay. I don't want you to feel, I mean, I'm not going to force you to come. It's a free country. You can come if you want to come. But I mean, I just, again, not to get, we'll keep the conversation between the three of us, not Barry, because we're about to bring some math into this. I mean, for 17, I think maybe 18 now, 18 awards, because I added the best van. But I mean, there's 1,700, a little over 1,700 trucks there. If you get upset about not winning an award and there's 18 awards out of, just say out of 1,700 trucks, you're not very good at math. And I'm saying, and it doesn't mean that you can't win, but it just, I just think if you're getting that upset, it has to be pretty good. Again, I don't know who wins until I call their name. I know. I'll go, I mean, there's been times I've called someone's name and seen them and go, oh Lord, so this guy, and I'll make a joke about him just because I know him personally. And I mean, this guy's, one particular guy, I won't say his name, was like, man, this guy's head's going to be bigger than RDS. And then just kind of make a joke about him saying, and about him, about winning something, because I don't know who, I don't know who's going to win until I call the name, just because I stay out of it. Again, there's probably 13 guys, 14, some guys do 2. Now I do have a man that I trust. I've trusted. He's done the awards. He's judged the show every year except 1 year. He's the head judge, and he handles. I get what it is. I take the 8 body styles, and traditionally, and best this, best that, best that, and then he goes and finds those 8 trucks necessarily. Now, he'll look at all of them, but I think majority of the time it's that's why that gentleman Dustin, because if you win best, typically not always, but if you win best 474, odds are. When you win best of show, then you can't win. I couldn't have given the truck the best 474 to that guy who was upset. Yeah. And then it's best of show. I wasn't best 474 because that guy is a 4. Well, yeah, it's not all of them. Odds are that person's going to win 2. Yeah, they're going to win one of the categories, and then they're going to win best of show because obviously they're the best in that particular category. And they can't, So that's So now I just and I had what it is, and then from 12 to 3 o'clock, he walks around from noon when Andy gives him the forms. So says where Jeremy's parked at or where Barry's parked there, and then he knows it's parked over here by the it was parked in the let's use Jason Moe's OBS. It's on the flyer this year. He's over parked in the new creations booth. Obviously, you know where to find him. So, but some of them he made it maybe so-and-so's truck that he's parked back there in the back, and hey, he's parked over along the third row in the line. I took a picture. It's right next to the so-and-so's booth or right next to his other trucks there, so they can so my head judge can go find it, and then he can determine what he thinks. And I mean, so far, I always ask him every year. Not that I doubt him, even though I sound like I doubt him when I ask him this question. Was it pretty easy, or was he clearing away? Was he the the Shornax truck? Perfect example on the 58. I'm sorry, the 5859 Apache. Was on the shirt 20. It may have been actually below that. No, it was 20. It was 23, 22, 23, 23. Patina truck, but pop the hood, and GSI has all the artwork on the frame. And you guys from Virginia, Craig and Corey, and it's like, whoa, it's like, and so I asked him the next year. They came back, and I said he picked it was another truck and won. I said the Shornax truck by far is my favorite truck. At least it's one best of show, my show, just because I like that truck. but I asked it too. I said, was the Short X truck anywhere near it this year? I didn't, because to me, use a sports analogy, I guess, until you get beat, I don't feel
You're the ring champ.
sure. You keep, until someone knocks you off.
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like that's, so, no, after 5-6 years, it'll probably piss some people off at some point. And this guy keeps, we'll build a better trail, some better for the Lakers, the Celtics, whatever you have. I mean, at some point you take him down. So, you get mad all you want to, but he said, he goes, it was very nice. He goes, and it was probably second. He told me, he goes, I forget who won Best of Show in that year. He said, but it was probably second, but he goes, this was top notch. Okay. So I always just kind of have a little conversation with him afterwards to see how it went to judging there.
The, winning consecutively or something like that, something that I did notice that Tim and Lisa Crossley do at Midwest Truck Nationals is if you win the following year, your truck is displayed indoors where they do the awards at, and it's a really large building. But if you win, you're on display, but you're not eligible to win that year. So, you're in there, you're out of there the following year to get judged again, and then maybe you can get back. So you could every other year or whatever. But there's always different ways of doing it, and I have a little opposition to the judging. When Jeremy and I first discussed putting the Southern Illinois Truck Showdown together, we were talking about no awards whatsoever. Yeah, we're not doing that. And the only reason why we have awards at the show is because I said, you know what, it'd be really cool if we were doing awards that we give away a ball bat.
Yeah, which is awesome.
And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, we got to give awards away. But I like what we do with it, where it's the sponsor choice, so we can legitimately say, sorry, they liked it. They may admittedly tell you that it wasn't the best of this or it was the best of that. They just like it.
Just like me, every year I've not picked the best truck. I pick what my flavor is.
And that's exactly what that like. And it also opens the door for people if you feel like what you like wasn't represented in those awards. Well, you can sponsor, and then you can choose, right? Become a sponsor, and you can pick the truck that you like the best.
I bounce a lot of things. There's probably a core guys that do some of the truck shows in the country, whether, Terry Hill, who does C10 Park, Craig Rowley is Battle Bama, and Dino, and myself. The four of us, I don't know if they talk to each other. I know I talk to them. They all three have asked me about something, or I've asked them about something, how we do this, how you do this, and vice versa, and bounce things off each other. And I think I asked Terry Hill one time how he doesn't do any awards at Seats in the Park. There are no awards there. I think you used to get a certificate and you could get into the park down in the square. Yeah. That's how you could get like the top 50 trucks. For sure. Park in there and where the concert was, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And of course there's no awards at Dino's. There are awards at Battle Bama. But I would ask Terry, when he used to do another show, doesn't do it anymore, how he does the awards there. Just curiosity, because I was trying to figure, this is between my drive-through judging and he says his idea was to give it to one of the vendors and tell them they got to go. They're assigned to pick the best. And there's no disrespect to Terry. I just didn't like that idea because I thought, if we'll use a gentleman that I like very much. He's not very popular with some people, but I enjoy his company.
Chris Higgins. Chris Snow.
Chris Snow. Snow was in the booth buying himself all day. Mm. And he doesn't have time to walk around, look at 1,700 trucks and find the best into.
Yeah, because he's selling seats.
He's got a gun. If I asked LMC to go find best of show, or they've got, they're there to make money, and they're to advertise and market their company. And also, not to be a douche to Chris, but what interior do you think Chris Stone's going to pick? Well, it's our that was the local guy's seeker. I'm not trying to be mean. It's just in him, but he sponsors the best interior. If Chris, because he used to sponsor the best interior, Snow did at our show, he would not go pick a local. And I don't blame him. Why would he? He didn't pick one of his customers' trucks, and I understand it. So I'm trying to keep it the least less biased as possible, make it the most fair.
So didn't you have a story about, where was it that there was They let a wheel company.
Oh, it was at C10s in the park. Yeah, no, it was American Racing back then. This has been 5-6 years ago.
So
Some of the best trucks there, because it was maybe more like 7 years ago when Mob Steel first hits the scene. Well, there was 5 trucks there that were super high end with mobs. Well, they didn't get to go downtown, but everything set in downtown had American Races. Yeah.
I just would rather keep it to the point of, I mean, and one of my judges last year, I again won't say his name, a good guy, he contacted me on Saturday when I was walking through the inside of the building at our show, the inside building. And I said, everything okay? You got one? Cause you got, it's like 11:30. We got humanity. And he said, I am. He goes, I'm trying to decide. I said, what's the problem? I said, again, I don't know why I asked, cause I don't want to know.
Yeah.
But he says, I just got a problem. He goes, I want to pick Bob Smith's truck, but I know Bob. And I don't want to look like
It's biased.
well, if Bob's truck's the nicest truck, I don't really care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I mean, it's we have a large truck community, but in that grand scheme of things, we know each other. And of course, you're going to run into somebody because you're meeting people, and this particular person knows a lot of people, and at some point, you can't just stay away from someone. It's again,
That's not fair either, right? It's not fair.
well, absolutely, and that's the thing. The fact that the guy is aware of the thought of everybody else.
Let's people self-awareness. That's aware. It's aware. Aware is which shows to me, it showed his character to not, just go, I'm just going to pick my best friend. Or,
no. But in the same breath, sit back, take a breath. Great that you are that conscious of that, but then you know what the answer is.
Right.
The guy's a winner. The guy's a winner. I can't help it if you're.
It doesn't change the fact it still doesn't change the fact he has the best truck there or the best body style that he picks. 772.
But like Jeremy said, it's unfair to that guy, unfair to his buddy.
If he knows his buddy, so I was punished for knowing Barry Shea.
Right. We all got punished for knowing Barry.
Let's say.
So we've kind of went through Southeastern Truck Nationals, and you want to give everybody the date for this year?
July 11th and 12th, 2025. They're at Wilson County Fairgrounds, same place. Registration opens on January 11th at noon. There'll be 1,700 trucks only this year. I save it every year, and we're always super close. I think this year with like 1652, 16. I know people are like, well, just why are you too exact? Just because I am.
Because everybody wants to know.
Well, everybody's a number, and I feel I could easily just say 1650, but I've been a police officer 20.
Is math hard for that kid?
I'll get buried to the county. I'm a detective, and when I look at stuff, just for example, cameras. I need to know did the car come through there at 821 or did it come through at 825? So I'm a little details we tell, but when it comes to numbers, I'm like Barry.
And I some you just don't understand.
We don't understand. But I want people to know exactly. So, but it was like, I think I tell people we had 5 or 6 more registrations in 23 than we did in 24, but we had more trucks there in 24 because and people always want to know, well, are you sure that so many people were there? I was like, no, because if I sell Bristol and buys a registration, Barry Higgins buys a registration, Jerry Allen buys a registration, well, but if they don't come, I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't help. I don't sit there with a clicker like an umpire or a clicking. I just don't have there's no way of knowing so if Jeremy's truck broke down on the way there.
Hey, listen, my shit on the record.
The truth hurts, son.
It didn't break down on the way to your show this year. Oh, that never.
And here's the thing: we didn't talk about that one time that you and I and our wives went to make the trip down there, and it took like 6 hours.
Well, that's why that dude is still in Georgia. They went down to your.
So, but you're right about keeping track of the count and everything, because I know Jeremy every year buys 3 or 4 registrations at least.
I hope that my junk truck,
because he's gonna bring 1 or 2, or he's taking care of a buddy to make sure that they make it there or whatever. So yeah, the numbers, it's just,
we try to help them out. The registration, we'll cut it off in June because it's what it is. I'm not right. I've major despise for the postal service. I guess we lose stuff all the time.
Yeah.
God forbid anybody live in West Tennessee or East Arkansas or Northern Mississippi, because if it goes to Memphis, you're screwed. So I be through Memphis in general, just mail in general. It's we lose more registrations. And it seems like in going through Memphis or anything, but I just don't trust the mail. So in the past, I've upped the price $10 after that date because at that point I'm just paying the $9.75 for priority or whatever. Like, well, you'll get it. And then, but I mean, I've met people at our hotel on Thursday night. I've met people at our hotel on Friday night that it couldn't go on Friday and wanted to come on Saturday. I'll put it in your hand. I have no problem. I'm not going to drive an hour to miss. You're going to come to me, unfortunately. I'm sorry that you missed the deadline or that you didn't know about it. I get it. I can't be everywhere. But I mean, I don't mind. We always make concessions and do the best I can to get the registrations to people that miss the deadline or want to, But we live in somewhat of a procrastination world, of course. I mean, there's always every year until we just flat out sell out, and then you're going to no. Sorry,
right. No. Well, and I appreciate you doing
most of that.
I appreciate how you do that because we do the same thing with our pre-registration. We cut ours off just over a month out because I mean, it's unbelievable how you can mail something to somebody that lives 2 hours away and it takes 5 weeks to get there or whatever.
Well, the one example I think of is a guy, I forget his name, Spain gentleman lived outside Atlanta, and it was in 23. I mailed it to him, and it was postmarked on, when I got it back, it was postmarked on May 15th. I got it back. We had taken my daughter Halen, she got a scholarship to Epic Flight Academy. She's an airplane mechanic. She had just graduated high school in 23, and we'd taken her down. We left your show in 23, come back on Saturday night, and then Sunday morning after church, we started driving down to the school's down in Daytona, Florida, just south of Daytona, and New Smyrna Beach, and we drove her down there. And when we got back we spent a couple of days on her getting her, acclimated to everything, get her moved in and all the groceries and stuff like that, and get her car gassed up and stuff. And we left and we flew back home, and we got back probably 6th, 7th of September. It was in the mail. I'd had it returned on September. So let's just say the 7th.
Wow.
And it had May 15 postmarked on it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
4 months.
it's like, good Lord. I mean, where's it in Sydney?
Could have sent it with a carrier pigeon faster than that.
Yeah. Or, crab walked it backwards down to 24 to North Georgia, and could have probably been there at least by June. So I just thought, so that's always the one that sticks out in my head that I get them. We get them back every year. There's a gentleman that lives, to show you how bad it is. He lives in our town, probably, a half mile up the road from me, in the subdivision up the road from me. I don't know.
Still goes to Memphis, though.
I don't know if it goes to Memphis, but we mailed it in our town in White House, Tennessee, and he never got it.
Yeah.
I bet it was.
Again, I'm almost like, why? And sometimes there are some times I have in the past, I don't drive a patrol car anymore. Mine's unmarked now, but there was times when
We think it's unmarked, but we know what it is.
I would just throw them in a mailbox. Just like,
I'll go to his.
they mail a chintzy, but why spend the 55 cents on a stamp?
Right.
I think hell now.
Well, but the gentleman probably appreciates the fact that it's
A
there.
couple of them, but yeah, but I kind of think now if this guy registers again this year, I'm probably just going to say, go drive over to put sound is, or walk or crab walk backwards and be there in 30 minutes, and then he's little on the road.
At that point, it's not the 55 cents or whatever it is. It is all of the trouble that's involved with the fact of wondering whether or not he's going to get it.
Yeah, and the worst part, and I'm not complaining. I know I'm complaining. It seems like Brett Sullivan didn't get his registration, but he never seems to let me know until July 10th. It's like, dude, I mailed him out on May 15th, bro. Why did you? Then I got to find a way to try to get it to him. Or can you meet me at the hotel? Or can you meet me? Because can you come outside there? I have one of the officers hand it to you when you pull up, that kind of thing. So I wish people let me know a little sooner. And there's no way. I guess there's probably the only way I could think of is maybe seeing everybody an email that's registered. Hey, you should be receiving your registrations pretty soon. But then you got people that don't check their
People don't check theirs.
It's kind of a you can't win. But it seems like people that always seem to let me know at the last second. Hey, I never got it. Like, you knew Brett Sullivan got hit. Damn, where's mine?
Well, and everybody lives on social media, and I don't know. I'll start if I haven't checked any of my stuff or anything. I start seeing everybody else's
Picture of
take it.
But come on, yeah, you just start thinking someone. But I get it. I know that there are people that some guys get upset about the pre-registration. One guy, was it Triple Crown? It was a Triple Crown the first year. So last year, 23. And he said his argument was he didn't like the pre-registration. He'd been on the show for several years. I won't mention his truck or anything, not that he's listening to this, out of Alabama. And he said, I liked your show and I like it. He goes, I just don't do the pre-registration. I said,
What do you want to drive up and get his rig?
you want to register the day of show? And I was like, well, the problem is the line is just, you can't. The city got mad at me when I started doing that. I'm not doing. I've always done. Oh, it's out there on that. Everybody took stones. You never cut, and then cause a wreck. We're too close to the interstate. It just causes this is a logistic problem. And then they're complaining to me that I'm causing problems for people that are just trying to go to Walmart.
Yeah, or people that live in those areas.
So he said he doesn't do that. He goes, I just don't like it anymore since I can't pre-register. And I said,
I can't believe that's a deal breaker.
Right.
And my comment back to him was, I said, I get it. I said, but have you never bought tickets to a concert?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody on Southwest.
Yeah.
I know things happen.
Yeah.
Truck breaks down. You have a death in the family.
Yeah.
You can't make it. Something happens. Just hell, you sell the truck.
Yeah.
Something happens. Your daughter gets married that weekend. You didn't know she was going to get asked. That kind of thing. I get it. But that's it. No one asked my daughter to marry her. We're not going to plan it for second weekend in July. I just won't be there. But you've got it there. I won't be there.
You just do it at the show. Because you've already got the venue.
Well, you're sure we've let
And there's probably a minister there.
I guarantee we can make that happen. I know a couple.
Yeah. So I just, that was my last, this is my comment that I'm not trying to be rich, that you don't plan for anything. Or, hell, a Titans game or a football game or a Cardinals game. Something that's anything that just thought you never thought to, that logic didn't make any sense to me. That was just an excuse of, you just can roll up, fly by the seats. I get it. I think he's retired, so good for him. I'm just jealous. Doesn't make planning or anything, and just kind of, well,
I don't like planning either, so I'm right with him.
I get.
I do want to take a moment while we're talking about the customer service that you offer, and I'm going to call customer service. That's essentially what it is. One of the things that I do like most about your show is the family atmosphere, right? And I know it's you and your wife and your daughters and a whole host of other people. But when you go, the first time I came to the show, Brett had gone in the past and told me about it. You should come. I'm like, man, that's not my, okay, I'm going to go. First, I'm, kind of reluctant. That's not my thing. I don't want to do that. And I went. And from the moment I got there, I felt like I had always belonged there, if that makes sense, right? It's the atmosphere of it. And it's honestly what we try to recreate, right? It's a group of people who can step aside from everything else that keeps us apart from one another and come together in one place for a couple of days for something that we really enjoy, and nothing else matters. And it's you and your family and the people that help you with that show that make that happen. So while we were over here, complaining about the mail and talking about the ways in which you make it a good experience, I just want to touch on that because it is you guys. And thank you for that, because we don't see that often.
Yeah, no, it's again, and I enjoy, and it's why I like doing the C10 Club, Tennessee, and I like doing the show. I enjoy. Sounds cheesy, but I like getting to know. I like getting to know people. I like introducing the fact that I may not have known Brett Sullivan before the show, but I know the fact that Brett Sullivan didn't know Lawrence Williams before the show. He may not know my friends Tony Vaughn, Clint Albert, or they may not have known. Other people, you may not have met Jason Node before the show or Chris Noden before, I know those are big vendors and sponsors like that, but you may have known a local guy that I know pretty well, but it's nice to be able to introduce him to Brett or to Jeremy or Barry that he's them now. And so now he's friends with them. I tell a story. Don't want to call them out, but there are two guys that did not know each other, until they met the trucks. And now you see them on vacation together. But the four of them, they're and their wives. It's just kind of cool to know. Not saying that I had I wish they paid for my vacation. I don't want to go on vacation necessarily with them. I'm just saying, I like my vacation. Yeah, I like both guys. So I'm just saying, but I'm joking. But it's just cool to see that they met each other through the C10 community or truck community, and now that they're now they're spending time outside, going to whatever resort or the beach or something like that to go, where they went on vacation together. Sure, it's kind of cool. It means it's some sort of part in building relationships.
Yeah, we've had people. We've had discussions. We've had discussions like that in the past too, talking about, and there are certain cases where this isn't true, but what I've seen is the truck community, the C10 community, in particular, it's such a close knit. You're friends with so and so that means I'm friends with so and so, and I can reach out to them. I can
vouch for them, and or you vouch for them. Then I that you're
so we were, like locally here we have Street Machine Nationals, and I know you'd talked about coming before and everything, and and not to speak poorly of them or anything, but I mean, it's kind of the name of the show, so we're going to do it anyway. It kind of sucks anymore.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to, I didn't want to know something and not tell you prior to you coming up here to it. It's a different show than what historically we recall it being.
Yeah.
And
nobody's going to come up to you and talk to you about your truck or your car.
no,
It's not like the C10 world where everybody wants to talk to you about you and your truck.
it's just an overwhelming group of folks that, they're going to be a show winner or whatever, or they've got bids sitting there and they're running around with their nose up in the air, and you can piss off rather than I'm going to talk.
That part of my pet peeve in life in general, I mean, it goes along with Jeremy's comment about self-awareness, is just I can't stand people who think they're better than you. So absolutely. I mean, I work on my trucks like everybody else. I'm not a welder, so I do, that's what I'm looking for. I do put out things and ask, Jason Bullock will weld something, my 65, he will do some welding work and some, welded the GSI back half on for me. But I mean, I go back, powder coat or paint it and, sandblast it and do all the work to it. I mean, and I bolt everything on and did it and built it, from there on. But people that think they're better than you just because again, you wrote a check and good for you. None wrong that at all.
Yeah.
Just don't act like,
Right.
That's it. Just don't act. My thing is, you wrote the check because you can't do the work yourself, and and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But you wanted to be a part of this community so bad, so
that you would write a check to do something.
Then be a part of the community. Don't act like you're better. Yeah, come as my RG. No, don't come in and act like I'm better than you.
Yeah, because I would have to be in this. I wish I could write the joke and have somebody else do something.
And that's nothing wrong. I get it. Nothing wrong. There's plenty of people that write check, and I'm friends with some of those people. It's just, and that's okay. But don't act like you're better than me or Jeremy, because we work on our own stuff.
Right now, Brett works on mine.
I've seen some cool stuff come out of a one car. You know what I mean? I've seen cool trucks come out of a one car that a guy did everything.
I think that, each of us are good at different things. And I think one of the things I enjoy about the community is being able to take the things that each of us are good at and then sharing that. Right? Like you, I can't weld. You know what I mean? So if I need stuff welded, I'm going to Brett's house. You know what I mean? Hey, man, can you just 2 weekends ago, I come by, I'm like, man, I've got to put this gauge in my truck. You know what I mean? He's has electrical training. I'm like, you help me out with this. And we spent way longer than what I thought we were going to spend. But doing that kind of thing, you know what I mean? And it's there may come a time when he needs help with something else that I can do. You know what I mean? I can hold a flashlight and hold a boot still or something to key. I like those things. But I mean, it's what's Southern Ranch, right? Or, but there's this.
Why you need dollars to do this for so like, this rarely comes to the shop anymore because she's been yelled at enough now that she's just been, mentally damaged.
Hold the damn flashlight.
I hear flies all day, so I guess that's what it is. So now I force my 13-year-old, who is very little interest. He's very mean. She's mean, has very little interest in this. She has a 7A, and she keeps wanting us to work on it. I'm like, when you work on the other stuff, work on this, or work on. Said your sister didn't just work on her chair. She learned on other people's. She just helped out. Well, I want to work on mine. Well, when you help other people, we got to work on your mother's 9. We're going to work on. We got to do some on 6.
That's no fun though.
What's such mine? Well, so her cab's outside. I made her go out there today, start taking stuff off the cab. It's got to go to the shop. Chris England Concepts is doing the body work on the cab, and again, metal work because I can't do it. And I said, we'll take the cab to him. We got all the patch panels. And I said, you need to go out there and start just take out door panels. Things are going to be done at some point.
Sure.
You don't really have to be taken off to do that. But you need to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
How do I do it? I said, you have to figure it out.
Yeah.
What bolt? Start on something. Oh yeah, that screws there. I said,
You see, you got a phone. It'll tell you on the phone how to take that stuff apart.
I don't know, that's fun.
You can at least get it took apart.
But yeah, but like you're saying, it is about building relationships with people and knowing that, again, Brett helps you help him, and going to a show and going, I really like what you did with that. How did you do that? And then someone, again, there's no reason to keep a big secret.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get a guy, I'm sure you get a guy that says, man, I paid for that. I'm not sure.
Well, that's
okay.
That's right in the Barry's wheelhouse though, because he has said before on the show and to us in real life, if a customer pays him for something that he then had to do the research and find, that's not something that can be given to other people, right? That belongs to the person that paid for that.
Or if it's something so custom that you just use what is for something.
But regular stuff, yeah, there's an anal.
15 years ago, even on the old forum days, you used to get on there and what was compatible. with an OBS that fit on a 672, whereas back then it was, look, the seats only, I just moved the bolt over one open. It's all exciting now. It's all now things you can just buy stuff to fit. You couldn't just buy something to hell, it was a sweet idea to go, hey, did you realize that the mid-90s serpentine belt systems fits on the old small block? You just got to drill one hole, or you just look at run a serpentine. Now, of course, we're buying, polyos and front motor systems is okay, but I mean, it's but telling people and sharing that information, people, not keeping it some sort of like it's hoarding it, like you're something like you're trying to make money off of it, I guess.
So I want to move in a little bit different direction with things and ask you about how did things come to be with you as far as handling C10 Club Tennessee?
John, I think after the show, it was probably in 12, that John, after I met John out there, we'd flown out to California for our anniversary trip, our 10th anniversary. I'd never been out there. She may have left from a cruise one time.
Cruise?
But just like Lily, from the airport to the cruise port and then went on the cruise. So you never been cruising. You're not, oh, really, not the friend out for food and
Never been a metal hotel in the ocean.
drunk people. And we went out there, rented a car, did the touristy stuff for a couple of days, and we had gone to a cruise in there, and John was there. So that's the first time we met John. I think I'd asked on the truck for him, is there any cruise-ins there? Big boys, and they're kind of like famous. Yeah. We're there I think we got there on a Thursday. So it was very kind of weekend. We spent like 3 days in LA and we drove up the coast, spent a couple of days in San Francisco, drove the coast, spent a day or so in Astoria. Went to the Goonies house and ended up driving the rest of the couple of days up to Seattle and spent a day in Seattle and then flew home. So it was like really like maybe a Wednesday to Sunday or Thursday to Monday trip. And but we got there and one of the guys on the page says, try this one or something. I think it was American Driving Museum had a cruise. And John shows up in the Prom Queen, which didn't look like the prom. It's still a Prom Queen, but it was static dropped and it wasn't anything like it looks like today. It was red. That's about it. That's about where the similarities start. And probably had 2 bucket seats in it. Not sure. I'm sure not the same 2 bucket seats that are in now, but and John met John over there, and I guess he ended up calling me and asked me if I would a while back, a little bit after that, asked me if I would start a chapter, I guess, in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So
okay, all right. Yeah, I didn't know. I had never heard the story. I didn't know how far back that was for you.
About 12 years. Yeah.
Okay.
It's about 12 years ago. So it's been good. I again enjoy meeting people and try to put on 4 or 5 things a year. We, of course, in the summer sometimes we try to find a cruise or a cruise, but try to get together, go, hey, we're going to go to the show. You may want to meet or drive together or something like that. When we get there, we can try to park together if we can. It's just, I know at SETN, everybody's like, you need to break up the show into club where everybody can park together. Like in this club parks here, I said,
yeah, because you need more stuff to have to
do. Yeah,
put together.
Well, there are like 9,000 people on the C10 Club Tennessee, and not all of them live in Tennessee. You're on there, you know where I said, and I don't restrict it just people Tennessee. Yeah. Yeah, Brad, then you want. That's still.
Hey, D.
So,
we're at the.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, so, Bryan, I appreciate you coming on and visiting with us, and I think what we should do is kind of wrap up, and maybe we'll get us another recording in, and that'd be all for now.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
So. All right.
I'm calling him sir.
So,
hey, blame your mother for that.
So thank you all for checking things out.
See you later, Barry.
And he's still contributing.
See after break.
Yeah, but thanks everybody for coming on and listening to this podcast. If you're listening to it on Spotify, you will also be able to see this on YouTube as well. And if you're looking at it on YouTube, you might be able to see our banners and stuff hanging down below for the 2025 Southern Illinois Truck Showdown. And you see our artwork and stuff for our shirts for the 2025 show. So, Bryan, thank you again.
Yes, sir.